my friend. So today we're going to talk about living intentionally and specifically how losing my son Sam taught me to live intentionally. Because when you lose someone close to you, you realize just how precious time is and how short life is. You truly don't know how much time you have with someone, and that becomes crystal clear when you lose them. Everything in my life, I reevaluated my priorities, where I spent my time. I began to realize how much time I wasted on things that really weren't important to me and how much I would give to have more time with Sam. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what living intentionally is, like what does it mean and what does it mean to you, why it's important, how you find out what your priorities are, and also some practical ways that you can start implementing right now to start restructuring your time so you can have more time to spend on the things that are most important to you. I pray this episode blesses you.
Hi, my sweet friend. Welcome to Unlocking Joy After Grief. My name's Courtney, wife, mom of 6 kiddos, one in heaven waiting for us. And that's why I'm here. I know how you feel, that all-consuming pain and grief, the sleepless nights wrestling with the question why. That's exactly how I felt when we lost our 4-year-old Sam. And it's my joy to share with you everything this journey has taught me. So if you're ready for biblical encouragement, first-hand lessons, and support from a fellow grieving mama, then let's lace up our shoes and begin walking this road together.
Life is busy, but it's also short. And that's one thing that when I lost Sam, I realized just how short life is. You think you're going to have 80 plus years with somebody, and then when you lose them, it can be a reality check that you don't have as long as you think you do with people. And losing someone will bring in your priorities into focus. What's really important. So today I want to talk about living intentionally. What does that mean? Why it's important? What are some practical ways that we can become more intentional in our lives? Because the last thing we want to do is get to the end of our lives, look back, and think, why did I waste my time on blank when I should have spent more time doing blank? And it's different for everyone. Like, what's a priority in my life, will be different for you. So this is something you have to look inside yourself and just think about, what are my priorities in my life? Because you don't want to look back at the end of your life and realize you wasted so much time on stuff that wasn't important and have regret of, I should have spent more time with my family, with serving at my church, volunteering at a homeless shelter, whatever it is that's really important to you. You want to be able to look back at your life and be like, I'm so glad that I spent my precious time, because you only have so much of it, doing what really matters and not wasting it scrolling through Facebook or watching hours of Netflix. Now, if watching hours of Netflix is a high priority for you, then girlfriend, you go take that time and you go watch those Netflix shows. So that there's no right or wrong answer here. The only wrong thing would be to waste time on things that aren't important to you. Because life is so busy and our schedules are so packed full, that's why it's super important to be intentional, because if not, these hours and days will just fly by, and before you know it, years have passed because we're so busy. And then you realize, I didn't spend time with the ones that really matter, or I didn't spend time doing the things that really matter to me. And it's not on purpose. It's just life. Life is busy. So for me personally, so that's what I'm going to talk about is what I discovered was a priority in my life. And then maybe that will help you think of what's important in your life and help, kind of get your brain thinking about where you want to spend your time. So when I lost Sam, I realized that the things that I was filling up in my schedule for the most part weren't important to me. That the things that was important to me was my family because I lost one and I would give anything to have him back, to be able to spend more time with him, not so I can have him back and sit on the couch and scroll through Facebook or Instagram, but so I could have him back to spend time with him, to hug him, to love him, to play with him, to take him to the park, to just spend quality time with him. So I realized that's what's important to me. My family, my church family, my friends, my extended family, those people are what's important to me and who I want to spend my time with. And so that's one of the things that I want to talk about in this podcast is not only healing and coping with the loss of someone, but also making the most of the time that we have with each other while we're here. Because that's one thing that became crystal clear after I lost Sam. So what does intentional living look like? When you think of ordering your priorities in order to live intentionally, and then you look at your schedule and you see how full it is, it can be so overwhelming. Like, where do I even start? My schedule is packed full. How am I going to find time to do this thing that's super important to me? Like, so for me, it'd be how am I going to find time to spend quality time with my family? But if you break it down, like the saying says, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So we break it down into steps. It makes it not so overwhelming. But before we get into those, I want to talk about what exactly intentional living means. And this is not an official definition. This is a Courtney definition of intentional living. But I think intentional living, being intentional with your time, is simply making small daily decisions to spend time on the things that are most important to you. That's it. And, like I said before, it'll look different for everyone. For some, it may mean simplifying your life, taking things out of your schedule so you have more time to spend at home with your family. Or it could be adding in more activities to enrich your life and fill your time. Like you realize, I want to have a packed schedule full of stuff that's important to me, so my life will be enriched. Again, there's no right answer. This is very personal. So the steps I'm going to walk you through will help you figure out exactly what living intentionally means to you. So where to begin? What is step one? Well, I believe that before you can even start, you have to figure out what your goals are in life. So I want you to picture yourself 10 years from now. How old will you be? What are you doing? Where are you working? Who are you surrounded by? What does your life look like? So if you have to, pause this podcast, and I want you to really think, what do you want your life to look like in 10 years? Okay, so now that you have that picture in your head, you know what your goal is. So for me personally, when I look 10 years in the future, I kind of compartmentalized it into 3 buckets. My family bucket. So this by far is my number one priority in life. Again, after losing Sam, I realized just how important my family is to me. And so I'm going to be spending quality time with my family. They're going to be the ones that get the most of my time. Second is my job bucket, my income. We all have to make money, right? And I really see myself doing what I'm doing now, helping people who are going through grief and having to walk through that pain and heartache. I'm not a certified coach or anything like that. Just a mama who's been there, who has walked through losing their child. And I want to help other people strengthen the foundation of their faith so they can withstand this storm that they're having to walk through. And then the third bucket is my friend bucket. We homeschool, so I see us like really involved in our homeschool group, really involved in our church with our church family. So that's how I picture myself spending my time in 10 years. So with those three things in mind of where I want my life to be, what I want it to look like, I can begin to prioritize my time and choices now to get me to that goal of spending my time with those things. So whatever you wrote down, whatever you envisioned your life to look like in 10 years, you can say, okay, so if I want to be spending my time doing these things, what can I start doing now to start putting myself on that path of where that's the end goal? That's where I'd like to be spending my time. And if what I'm filling my time with right now isn't going to get me closer to that goal, then I don't do it. This means saying no to things. This means canceling things, cutting things out of your schedule. But I just want to encourage you to do it. It will be so worth it in 10 years when you look back and be like, I'm so glad I took that out of my schedule so I could add this in, because this is what enriches my life. This is my priority. This is where I want to be spending my time. And that was just a waste of my time. And this won't happen by chance. You can't just wish, I wish I had more time to spend with my family, but then do nothing about it. Like if I just say, I wish I could spend more time with my kids, but then I keep doing what I'm doing, then I'm never going to have the time that I want to spend with my kids. You have to be strategic and intentional with your time. So here's the actionable steps that I want you to do. I want you to get a notebook and a pen, and I want you to pull up your calendar, whether it's digital or paper, whatever you use. I want you to look at your schedule, everything that's in it, all the appointments, the kids' practices, your activities, your work schedule, everything. And then I want you to think about the things that aren't on the schedule, that you don't necessarily schedule time for, that you do. Maybe it's exercise. Now, I do know some people schedule in time for exercise, but if you don't, write that down in your notebook. All the hours spent watching Netflix or scrolling through Instagram or going out to eat with your family, the phone conversations you have with your friends or your mom. Write all those things down. And then I want you to go through each item on your list that you've written down and also in your schedule and ask yourself, is this activity getting me closer to my goals, or is it taking away the precious time that I have to reach those goals? If your answer is it's taking time away from my goals, this is not what I want to fill my time with, cross it out, cancel it, take it out of your schedule, because those things aren't helping you reach your goals. After doing this, after crossing all the things out, you'll begin to have a clear path of what you need to stop doing and what you need to start doing, what you need to add in your calendar. So if scrolling through Instagram for 2 hours at night isn't going to get you where you want to be, then stop it. Delete the app from your phone, or, just be disciplined to, if you start to open it up, be like, no, this isn't going to get me where I want to be. And I actually just recently did that. I didn't delete the app from my phone, but I was used to it being in a certain part of my phone. So I would find myself just going there out of habit and clicking. So I actually moved it to another part of my phone, away from the normal spot it is. And y'all, I would open up my phone and go to click and it wasn't there. And I realized I was just doing it out of habit when I didn't have anything else to do, or when I sat on the couch or whatever. I would open up my phone and go to click just out of habit of doing it all the time. And that really was a light bulb moment for me that I don't want to spend hours scrolling through Facebook or scrolling through Instagram, because honestly, it's soul sucking, just for me personally. Again, this is just my take on it. If you love it and it brings you joy, then by all means, that is awesome and you do that. But just for me personally, there was just so much drama and things, and it was not bringing me life. It was not bringing me joy. And I still do scroll through. I'm not going to say I never do, but I'm more aware of it now. And so I realize that time that I'm spending on social media is taking away from one of my priorities, which is spending time with my family. Because time is our most precious gift and we can't get it back. So we have to use our time wisely and with intention and clear goals. And after you do everything that we've talked about today, you'll begin to be on the path to hitting those goals, creating that life that are filled with priorities that are important to you. And I know that you will not regret taking this time to figure out what's important to you and begin to shape your life now so your time is filled with the things that are most precious to you. Love you, friend. I'll see you next week.
Hi, friend. I hope this episode blessed you. The best advice I can give to be able to make it when a storm hits your life is to know who God is before it even starts to rain. I've created a free 30-day scripture calendar that will help you get to know who God is, His character. You can find this calendar plus bonus journaling pages and scripture cards all for free at unlockingjoy.com/God's character. This will also be linked in the show notes. I pray the foundation of your faith will be strengthened as you journey into the heart of the Father. I'll see you next week. Love you, friends.